Dear students, welcome back. In the last class, we were discussing about the Competition Act of 2002. So, where we started understanding about what is competition and competition in the market and why this competition is required. So, competition in the market is that is anything, the satisfaction, an urge by the seller and an urge by the buyer in order to sell and in order to buy the product is very important. So, that is the satisfaction they get by making a profit and the satisfaction the consumer get by using the product that gives a kind of relationship that existence of relationship between these two we call as competition, or again any competition that exists between the sellers alone, that also can be called as competition. So, why this is required in the market? So, this is very much required in the market in order to make enterprise more efficient and offers wider choice to consumers at lower prices, so that the consumer will be at the benefit by having variety of the products or wide range of products where he will be having many alternatives or options to choose. That is very important and ensures optimum utilization of available resources, and also it enhances consumer welfare, since consumers can buy more of better quality products at the lower prices. And then it is more beneficial for the consumers, producers, and also to the sellers, and finally for the whole society, since it includes economic growth. So, because of this competition, today we can see the economic growth, where it contributes more towards the economic growth. Because of that, the fair prices, or where we can optimize the competitive environment in the market. Then now we shall understand what is meant by an unfair competition. Collusive price fixing or deliberate reduction in output in order to increase prices, or creation of barriers to entry, or allocation of markets, or tie-up of sale, predatory pricing in order to control this predatory pricing or discriminatory pricing. We have so such any the acts we call as unfair competition. When was the competition law enacted in India? Now let us understand when this was enacted in India. The Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act of 1969 is the first enactment to deal with the competition issues and came into effect on 1st June 1970. The government appointed a committee in October 1999 to examine the existing MRT Act for shifting the focus of the law from curbing monopolies to promoting competition and to suggest a modern competitive law. Earlier, during industrial revolution, when the industries were introduced, we used to have the monopolies, like usually the capitalists, they used to run the industries or the businesses. So, in order to control such monopolies and to promote a fair competition among the other the manufacturers or producers, this act has been introduced. And also the pursuant to the recommendations of this committee, the Competition Act of 2002 was enacted on 13th January 2003. So that is the reason this law was introduced. Now coming to the introduction of it, as we all know, this act was introduced in 2002, and under Indian competition law, it is a tool to implement and enforce competition policy and to prevent and punish anti-competitive business practices by firms and unnecessary government interference in the market. The act contains both criminal and civil provisions aimed at preventing anti-competitive practices in the marketplace. And also this act is enforced and administered by the competition bureau, and cases are adjudicated by the competition tribunal. Coming to the objectives of this, the main objective of this is to provide for the establishment of a commission to prevent practices having adverse effect on competition. So any kind of like dominance or unfair trade practices by the competitors, no? So in order to reduce such things, so this has been introduced, and to promote and sustain competition in markets in India, and to protect the interests of consumers, and to protect the interest of that is to prevent anti competitive practices, and to promote and sustain competition, and to ensure freedom of trade. So this act has been introduced. Coming to Competition Commission of India, so this is a commission that is been set to redress the issues related to the competition. So this is shortly abbreviated as CCI. So the objectives of this CCI are, the objectives of this act are sought to be achieved through the instrumentality of the Competition Commission of India, which has been established by the central government with effect from 14th October 2003. And the functions of CCI are, CCI shall prohibit anti-competitive agreement and abuse of dominance through a process of inquiry, and the CCI shall give opinion on competition issues on a reference received from an authority established under any law, that is statutory authority or central government. Then CCI is also create public awareness and impart training on competition issues. Now let us understand the definitions of this. Here we usually discuss the terminologies, that is acquisition, cartel, dominant position. So these are the terms which usually we have discussed in the economic subject. The acquisitions, you know, means directly or indirectly acquiring or agreeing to acquire shares, voting rights, or control over management or assets of any enterprise. And cartel means it includes an association of producers, sellers, distributors, traders, or service providers who, by agreeing among themselves, limit, control, or attempt to control the production. So that is, say for example, by introducing some offers, you try to attract the customers. So by looking at you, your competitor also may follow the same, and in case of increase in price of that product, the competitor may not like to increase the price. So this kind of tendency we call as cartel. Now coming to the third one, that is dominant position. It means a position of strength enjoyed by an enterprise in the relevant market, which enables it to operate independently or of competitive forces prevailing in the market, or affect its competitors or consumers in favor. Like that we have predatory pricing. So this also used to be controlled in this Competition Act. And rule of reason, so that is, it is the analysis of any activity under the challenge on the basis of business justification, competitive intent, or market impact on competition and on consumer. It is the logic behind the conclusion of any order. So this is about the Competition Act. Now let us understand the salient features of Competition Act of 2002. The salient features include anti-agreements, then types of agreements usually we discuss here, then abuse of dominant position, then combinations, Competition Commission of India as already we have discussed, and review of orders of commission, then appeal, then penalty. So These are the salient features of the Competition Act of 2002. Now coming to the first one, anti-agreements. So means enterprises, persons or associations of enterprises or persons including cartels shall not enter into agreements in respect of production, supply, distribution, storage, acquisition or control of goods or provisions of services which cause or are likely to cause an appreciable adverse impact. So suppose any agreement which may cause some adverse impact not is not supposed to uh, be done. So that is why it is called as anti-agreements. Directly or indirectly determine sale or purchase prices, then limit or control production, supply, markets, technical developments, investment or provision of services, then share the market or source of production or provision of services by allocation of inter alia, geographical area of market, nature of goods or number of customers or any other similar way, or directly or indirectly result in bid rigging or collusive bidding. The second one, coming to the second important salient feature, that is type of agreement. So here usually we discuss two types of agreement. One is horizontal agreement and vertical agreement. Horizontal agreement is an agreement for cooperation between two or more competing business operating at the same level in the market. And vertical agreement is an agreement between firms at different levels of the supply chain. For instance, a manufacturer or consumer electronics might have a vertical agreement with a retailer according to which the latter would promote their products in return for lower prices. And the third important feature is abuse of dominant position. In case of, if there shall be an abuse of dominant position, if an enterprise imposes directly or indirectly or unfair or discriminatory conditions in purchase of sale of goods or services, or restricts production or technical development, or create hindrance in entry of new operators to the prejudice of consumers. So that is, the provisions relating to the abuse of dominant positions require determination of dominance in the relevant market. Suppose you want to be have a dominant position in the market, then you need to fulfill certain conditions in purchase of sales of goods or services. So based on that, the dominant position will be determined. The fourth one is combinations, and the next one is Competition Commission of India. Then review of orders of commission, appeal and penalty. Now let us discuss the features of Competition Act of 2002. The first important feature is this act is a very compact and smaller legislation which includes only 66 sections compared to the other acts. So this is a smallest of these acts, which has only 66 sections, and CCI is constituted under this act. This act restricts agreements having adverse effect on competition in India, and also this act suitably regulates acquisitions, mergers and amalgamations of enterprises. And under the purview of this act, the central government appointed the Director General for conducting detailed investigation of anti-competition agreements for arresting the CCI. And also this act is flexible enough to change its provisions as per needs. And the last important feature is civil courts do not have any jurisdiction to entertain any suit which is within the purview of